All right, guys. So what is the meta, man? I seem to get this question all the time. Somebody's always asking this question because they're kind of hoping that they missed something. They're hoping that somewhere amongst everything there's like a hidden gem in one of these art types. And then, you know, you've got a clever dragon, man. You know, you've got a two-tapping thorn, man. You've got something that obviously we must have overlooked. And to be straight, guys, nothing's really been overlooked. There's just a lot of different weapons that really just fits the situation. Let me go over weapon statistics, but before I get into that, let me shout out to these streamers, man. You're gonna see a lot of streamers that we went against last night, man. We had a lot of good games last night. A lot of good games. They were very, very close games, man. Shout out to QJ, shout out to JMP, dude. Much love to those guys, man. They really set the bar, in my opinion, and how you need to be if you want to get into streaming. I see so many young streamers get into my stream and ask me, you know, like, what should they do in terms of getting their stream kicked off? I really highly suggest, especially QJ, man, check him out. You need to really, you need to just have his same mentality and how he embraces trials and also how he embraces carries. Really good guy, really nice guy. And so respectful people like that, man, definitely deserve recognition. With that being said, though, let's talk about weapon stats. So if you look at Burning Shrine, for instance, so far right now, this is Saturday midday, you've got 40% of special weapon kills being sidearms. You also got in the category of primaries, you've got 43% of primary kills still being hand cannons, followed by 23% pulse rifles. Scout rifles also being 20%, auto rifles being the lowest at 13%. Now this is something that oh yeah, and by the way, the special 51% is still snipers. So for anybody that wants to rage real quick about sidearms, understand that 51% is still snipers as well. A lot of this just has to do with Burning Shrine. A lot of people play this map very, very differently. So you see a lot of people rocking snipers. Well, majority of people will rock a hand cannon with that sniper. You know, quick body shot, turn around and finish them off with a quick primary shot. Now, me myself, last night I was rocking Doctrine of Passing a bunch. I was also rocking Hard Light. You know, we swapped it up a little bit. I rocked Pally for a second. Gamer was actually rocking, what was he? He was rocking Thorn for the most part. Thorn, I think he swapped between that and Longbow. But that was what he was loading out with and was doing a lot of work, especially with Thorn, man. It was really going in with Thorn. And so when we sit here and we say what the weapon, like what the meta is, so many people want to believe that there's like a hidden weapon amongst everything that can dominate and overpower everything. You know, Clever Dragon could do that. Even in the close quarter combat area, it was so disgustingly good. And so there was that weapon that you saw in everyone's hands. Every game you went into, someone was using a Clever Dragon. Here now, in my opinion, I think there is a lot of diversity. Honestly, you know, last night we played with Doctrine of Passings and we just went in there and we were team shotting the hell and back. I think what's so crazy though is like even like mid game, I would swap weapons because it's almost as if like it's like a game of rock, paper, scissors. Like I just know, okay, what I'm using right now, it's not going to work for me. It's not going to benefit me. I can't beat him out. And so I would swap to another weapon. And even times when I would swap, I would sit there and think, I don't think this weapon's going to work. You know, used to in the past, you would just rock out fun stuff. And then when you got into a bind, you would go, I'm going with Clever Dragon, you know? And that's kind of how I felt like a lot of situations would run into. You know, last night I felt like it was just like, okay, I would go from a hand cannon to an auto rifle. That doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, statistically speaking, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But then it would work. Somehow it would work. And so, in my opinion, now more than ever, everything is so situational. And now everything is also depending on your skill. Again, perfect example is Gamer. You know, him able to take everyone on. He rocks not only Thorn now, but he rocks Thorn in sweats every single week. It blows my mind. Somehow he fucking goes off with it all the time. Y'all know the limitations to Thorn now. You also know the limitations to its range, yet he still does wonderfully well with this weapon. And so, again, to me, it almost just boils down to a person's ability with that weapon type. I see so many people that just want to find just the one universal weapon that's going to be the dominating force, and there really isn't. And I know hand cannons statistically now are still very dominating up close, but there's so many ways to outplay a hand cannon. That 4.5 meter reduction to its range from aiming down sights is a pretty big deal, skill, guys, and you can really outplay somebody using a hand cannon once you just right outside the range, or even up close, man, if you just know how to strafe on them. I see a lot of people still complain about hand cannons, but if you get a good mean strafe, especially if you've got a good auto rifle shot, in my opinion. I think auto rifles are very underrated right now. If you get a good auto rifle shot, man, and get a good strafe on you, you can beat them out. So if you're still with me, man, let me just mention something about this. I feel like more than anything right now, weapons really require you to set up guidelines. If I was to say always to load out a hand cannon, in my mind, I need to always have a more of an aggressive agenda. I need to be pushing more. I need to be on top of enemies more, because that's where it dominates the most. If I have an auto rifle, I need to be more of a support role. I know that sounds crazy, but honestly, so auto rifles to me are more of a support role. They do a really good job in terms of team shotting. So I would kind of surround myself around teammates and do the team shot. You know, always be on top of team shot. And even in situations where you only get, you know, a quarter of your clip into someone, you know, if you only get just a couple bullets, any little bit, that's the beautiful thing about auto rifles, is any little bit is enough to weaken the enemy in terms of getting them down. Is it the most dominating force? No, but it is really good in its team shot ability, you know. And pulse rifles and scout rifles to me are something that I feel like a lot of people are overlooking, especially scout rifles. The thing that took me off guard more than anything was last night when we went against a couple people that were rocking Jade or Kaitis. Those weapon archetypes have a really fast time to kill. They also catch you off guard because you're just not expecting to be just hit that hard and that quickly. And here's the thing with both of those scout rifles, that archetype in general. In terms of using those scouts, you almost have to set up guidelines. You almost have to set up, you know, rules and boundaries around yourself that, okay, I'm rocking out Jade. I know that my optimal time to kill is good, but also know that if I keep distance, if I keep this many meters between me and my enemy, I will be just fine and I will be able to beat them out no matter what. If you set up those rules and guidelines and then you abide by them and stick to them, oh my God, you've just become one of the deadliest guardians in Destiny. I'm just telling you, that's the biggest problem. That's what a lot of people don't do. They don't set up guidelines. They don't set up rules on which weapons they're using, and they put themselves in situations that weapon is obviously at a disadvantage. And so I would never take a Jade Rabbit and be on top of a guy using an IS Luna. It just wouldn't work. Wouldn't work for me. But if I played the distance game on him and just had a good crit shot, the body shot, crit shot, oh my God, you'll eat him up every time. He'll never make it to you. He'll never get close to you. And so that was actually the thing that took me off guard more than anything last night. So guys, in terms of a meta, I think it really comes down to you. It comes down to you and you finding your weapon that you just have a niche with, something that really just fits you in your playstyle, you know. And once you find it, perfect it, mold it, use it often, and get good with it, you know. And understand the boundaries and rules in which you need to use that weapon. Understand that this is where this weapon is have its biggest advantage at, and don't step out of that. And if you abide by that, man, you just created your own meta. So guys, that's my thoughts, man. You know, I know this video probably might not have answered the question for you. You probably were hoping to hear that one dominating force. You know, there isn't really a just true dominating force right now, in my opinion. I think once you get close to finding your niche, you'll be able to put it on everyone. Guys, as always, man, thank you so much for coming and watching, and I'll catch y'all later. Slap that like button like your mama told you right.
And soft.